So, how you doing out there, YouTube? My name is David Taylor, owner of Booger Bears Barbecue, competition team, coming off of a top 5 finish at Thunder on Water, and getting ready for the next comp. So, we got about a month, maybe 5 weeks before the Watermelon Festival gets here. We want to get ready for that competition. We're going to take you guys on the journey with us to get ready. I've watched a lot of these YouTube videos. I've watched a lot of comp guys. One thing I don't see is a lot of, let me try to figure out how I want to say it. I don't see a lot of them showing you the way to get ready or the road to the competition. And that's what we're going to do in these videos. And this is the Journey to the Watermelon Festival Part 1. Alright, so I'll be right back with you. I got to get a refill. Just hang on and stay right there and I'll be right back. Alright. Alright, so today, working up to this competition, a lot of people don't understand competitions and don't know how they work, because there's a lot difference between a competition barbecue and a backyard barbecue. Backyard barbecue is where it's at if you love to cook like I do, and I love to cook. You know, having that guy sitting there that needs a wheelbarrow to get back to his car because he ate too much, that's where it's at. For me, that's where it's at, just to see a smile on the face when they taste it. But then you get into stuff like competitions and small competitions and you win your first trophy, and that can get addictive real quick. Winning trophies and standing up there and having your name called week after week after week. I'm not there yet. So I've had my name called a few times, and that is amazing. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing with these competitions, and that's why I'm going to take you on this journey with us to the Watermelon Festival. And we're going to start today by practicing on some ribs, and I want to practice 2 styles. I want to practice one on baby back ribs, pork loin ribs, which is more of a Memphis barbecue, and I'm also going to do some spare ribs because I want to do some practicing for some KCBS, and I'm going to take you and show you how I do that and how I prep for them and some of the seasonings I use. Stay with us and we'll be right back. So what I've got here is just some Smithfield baby back loin back ribs. You can find them at Walmart or most of your local grocery stores. And I also have some Smithfield spare ribs. We're going to prep the baby back ribs first, show you how we prep those, and then we're going to trim these spare ribs down and show you how we get them down to the right size and basically turn them into a St. Louis style spare rib. And we'll show you that process and how we season them and get them on the smoker. So as you can see, we're here in our kitchen now. When we started filming this thing out at the lake, looked like a beautiful day out there, and we started setting up at Archabutler Lake is where we do a lot of our cooking and practicing at. And then the Sky decided they wanted to piss on us, so we had to kind of get everything loaded up and head back home, and we decided to finish the video up here at our house. So before we go any further, I'd say welcome to our home. So I've took the baby back loin ribs out of their package. I'm not going to do a whole lot to them. Now, getting ready for a comp, I might do some trimming on this end and maybe take out a bone here and a bone here. But they look pretty good. I am going to flip them over and take the membrane off the back. I think it lets the seasoning penetrate through and lets smoke get through it. So I definitely want to take that membrane off. And all I'm going to do is stick my hand in here and get a good grip on it. And it's fairly easy to move. And just pull it off. Well, that's all I'm going to do to these baby back loin ribs until I get ready to put some seasoning on them. So I'm gonna move these down here to a pan. I'm not putting these in the floor. I got the pan down. And we'll be right back. I'm gonna show you how I trim the spare ribs to down to a St. Louis cut and get them ready for a competition rib. So I got my spare ribs out of the pack. Takes a little more prep work to get them ready. I want to cut them down to a St. Louis cut rib so they'll be nice and straight and pretty and all that good stuff. We're not going to throw any of it away. We're going to eat all of it. But definitely going to do some trimming on it. So spare ribs usually have this flap right here on the back. And I just try to take that flap down as much as I can and trim it off of there. So we're not going to throw any of that away, we're going to keep it. And then if you'll turn it sideways, and you come in here and you find about the third bone, fourth bone, you'll find the wrong bone. And you can get that knife right down in between it. Try to make a straight cut as straight as you can. And it helps to have a sharp knife. And I know what you're thinking, you may not have a sharp knife like this at home. That's alright, they sell them on the internet. You can look them up online and buy them. You go see Malcolm Reed at How to Barbecue Right, he'll sell you one. Or if you're close to South Haven, you can go see Miss Melissa. She'll be glad to sell you one at Barbecue All Stars. That's where I buy most of my stuff from. Got a big selection. Now the spare ribs are a little bit more hard-headed when it comes to getting this membrane off. You just have to kind of work at it. But if you work at it, you can get it off. So this little end piece right here is just kind of a flap. Some meat on it, but it's not what I want. So I'm going to take and cut that piece off right there. Set these over here to the side, and this little fat right here, nobody wants it, so we're going to kind of trim that off there. That's all I'm going to do to these until we get ready to season them. So give us a minute to get set up and we'll be right back. Alright, so both of these ribs, I'm going to season the back of them first. I want to be sanitary, so try not to touch any of my seasoning bottles with my meat hands. I'm going to start out with a little bit of Killer Hogs barbecue rub. There's a lot of good rubs out there. This one to me is a great rub. Done pretty well with it. I'm gonna get kind of a medium coat on it. Come back with a little Heath Rouse pecan rub now. Don't let the name fool you. It's got a pecan flavor to it. It's kind of a nutty flavor, but there's no nuts in it, so it's safe. If you have any allergies or anything that's going to mess you up as far as nuts and stuff like that goes, there's no actual nuts in it. So. Now, I don't use a binder, so a lot of guys out there use a binder. I just don't see it's necessary. I've used the binder before and I can't tell a whole lot of difference in it. I'm going to do the same thing on the top side as I did the bottom. If you notice, I got some aluminum foil down here under my cutting board just to kind of keep the countertop clean. This stuff can get all over the place. kind of pat it in. I know they call these rubs, but you don't really want to rub it, because if you rub it, it'll bunch up on you and you'll get more seasoning on one side than the other. Just kind of pat it in. Like I said, I didn't use a binder on these because I usually don't. I usually try to give them time to rest and let that seasoning soak up, and it'll draw that moisture out of it and it'll sit in there real well. So we're gonna let these sit here for about 15 minutes while we get the pit balls fired up, and we'll be back. So like I said before, we're gonna use the Pit Boss Austin XL. I had my char griller XD set up at the lake, and it kind of rained us out and started storming on us, so we had to put a different plan together. So we're on the back deck now, and I got the Austin XL fired up, and that's what we're going to use to cook these ribs today. See, it's a well-used smoker. It's probably one of my favorite smokers. I just kind of lay them in there like that, and I want to bunch them up a little bit to get some of that meat squished up in there where we can get as much meat in there as we can and get it squished up. And those end pieces that we cut off of there, I'm just going to throw in this top rack. We're not going to leave anything out. I got them seasoned a little different, but that's another video some other day. And we're gonna let these cook on here for probably an hour and a half, and then we're gonna come out here and check them and maybe spritz them a little bit if they need them. We'll see what happens then. We'll be back. All right, so it's been about an hour now. They've been on Pit Boss. Getting a little dry, so we're going to spritz them a little bit, get some moisture in there with them. I'm a little lazy, so I use one of these sprayers instead of a squeeze gun that you have to pump on. So what I got here is a little apple juice, and got it cut with some water, and we're just going to keep them moist through the cooking process. I'm going to come out here and spray them about every 15 or 20 minutes from this point on until we get ready to wrap them, and we'll show you how we wrap them when we come back. All right, we're back. It's been about 2 hours and 30 minutes since we put these things on the Pit Boss outside. We got a new baby, so if you hear some noise in the background, she's probably cutting up, acting like babies do. But they're ready to wrap now, so I'm gonna show you how I wrap these ribs. And these are the baby back loin ribs that we started out with. Like I said, they've been out there about 2.5 hours on the Pit Boss, and I'm just gonna lay 3 pats of butter down. It'll melt and get all in there. Be good. Now a lot of guys out there wrap with brown sugar and honey, and that's all good. I prefer just to use a Blues Hog sweet and savory. It's got a good brown sugar and a good salt taste to it. So I'm just going to kind of sprinkle that over the foil a little bit there. Make sure it coats it real good. I'm going to come back with some Blues Hog Tennessee red sauce. It's got a little heat to it. That Killer Hogs is kind of sweet on its own, so we want to offset it with a little bit of heat and a little bit of vinegar sauce. And Blues Hog makes a good one with the Tennessee red. And that's all I'm gonna do to that side of it. On this side of it, we're gonna come back with a little concoction that I made up here. It's kind of like a Heath Rouse butter bath if you've ever watched Heath Rouse. It's got a little bit of extra stuff in it. I'm just going to kind of sprinkle that over the top. I ain't really worried about the bottom. It's going to get some run over on it. Then we're just going to fold it up. And I do have these double foil. Keep them bones poking through and busting that foil. I'm just going to fold the edges over. Where I can get back into it fairly easy. Set these to the side. I'm going to wrap these spare ribs the exact same way, so give me just a minute and I'll have those wrapped and we'll put them back on the smoker and be ready to go. So we're going to put these back on the smoker, face down, let them smoke maybe for about 45 minutes. They're not smoking at this point, they're cooking to get tender. I want to say 45 minutes to an hour and they'll be ready to glaze, and when we come back we'll show you how we glaze them. Alright, so our ribs have been on the smoker for 2.5 hours in the smoke, and they've been wrapped for about 45 minutes. And they're getting pretty close to done. We got another 15 minutes in the wrap and they'll be ready to go. So what I want to do is I'm going to make a couple of foil boats for the ribs to set in, because we're going to put a glaze on top of them and stick them back in the smoker for about 10 minutes to let the glaze set. So I'll show you how to make a boat. It's a little bit easier to carry that way back to the grill, and you don't have to mess up your grill grate. So you're going to take the foil like this, double it up, and I'll show you how to make a boat out of it. And that's it. We're going to make 2 of them like that, and that way when we set our ribs in there, we can glaze them and pick them up, put them right back on the smoker, and not mess up the grill grate. I'm sorry, not mess up the grill grates, and make them easy to carry. So as you can see, it's got all kinds of thermometers in it. It's just, some of them are poking through. Parts of it are maybe a little bit too tender for competition, but great for eating at home. And I'm going to start out by glazing the back side of them with just a little bit of this Smoky Mountain Blues Hog barbecue sauce. Now a lot of times for competition I might put that on the grill and heat it up a little bit. But we're not in the only competition we're in today is going to see who's getting the first bite of this stuff. Now, the true test is the bones are poking out of the back of it, but I can still pick that rib up and wave it like that. It's not falling apart, it's not breaking, but I guarantee you it's going to have bite through when we get through with it. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to take this and kind of glaze the top side of it. You don't want to go too heavy on it. We're not eating barbecue ribs. It's just a kind of a light glaze over the top of it to give it some color and a little bit of that flavor. That's what we're going to look for. Now these, I didn't go to Walmart and pick out the straightest ribs in there. I just got a couple of them. Now for a competition, I might go up there and I might pick out the straightest ribs they got. Or honestly, Walmart sells some good ribs, but if I'm getting ready for a competition, and you'll see this more in videos to come, I go to a place in Memphis called, Memphis, Tennessee called Raymond's Meat Market that sells me some good competition meat, and those are good guys up there. And I buy special meat for competitions. it's the same meat, but they might have straighter bones. They might be cut a little bit better and things like that. So again, these ain't gonna be the straightest bones in the country, but they're gonna be very edible, and that's what we're looking for. Now, to get this out of the way, I'm gonna set these back on the grill, back on the smoker, back on the Pit Boss, and let them tack up a little bit for about 10 minutes, and they'll be ready to cut into them, see if they got that good bite through we're looking for.
This time I'm gonna put it on the.
So these are the baby backs we put on there. You can see we got a little disintegration right there with the bones. They're good and tender. Like I said, these things have got all kinds of thermometers in them. And gonna do the same thing we did with the spare ribs. We're just gonna kind of put a light coat of glaze over the back of them with that Blues Hog Smoky Mountain barbecue sauce. And then y'all see me make the foil boats over there. We'll get a good coat of glaze on there, and then we're gonna move this boat over here and kind of flip it over. And again, you ought to be able to wave that rib and it not tear apart, but still have a good bite through, and that's what we're looking for. Now, my daddy, the original Booger Bear, tell you these ribs right here was not where they needed to be, because he thought you ought to pick up a rib and the bones stay on the plate, and that's not what we're looking for in competition barbecue. They're good eating ribs at home, and you turn a lot of heads, but judges are looking for a little something different, and that's what we're going for today. So maybe in another video sometime down the road we'll show you the how the original Booger Bear cooked his ribs. Let's get rid of this foil here, because again we're gonna set these back on the smoker. Let that glaze tack up on them for about 10 minutes, and we'll be back with you. Cut them up and show you that bite through that we're looking for. Alright, so we got the final product here. After 3.5 long hours. I usually don't cook low and slow, I cook hot and fast, so total of 3.5 to 4 hours is about all I'm cooking these ribs today. We're about to get ready to cut them up and see what they look like. So what I like to do is I like to take a little bit of that same glaze that I used on them ribs and kind of spread it across my cutting board so I don't mess up that sauce when I flip them over, because I like to cut my ribs bottom side up so I can see the bone and see where I'm cutting at. And I don't want to mess that sauce up on them. So I'm just going to kind of spread some sauce out on this cutting board to help that process out a little bit. And again, we just got a good look to them, got a good color to them. They should be able to just cut through like it's nothing to it. And these things just, they feel like butter. And that's what we're looking for. And sometimes you'll find the bone that's kind of ran together. You have to figure out where it's at. That one don't want to cooperate, so we're just going to turn it up edgeways and cut it. through. It ought to go together like that. Really nice, really pretty, got a good color to them. Give me just a minute and we're going to get the baby backs out and see if they cut the same way. A lot of times in a comp, you're cutting baby backs in twos, not single bones but double bones, because the judges want to take them and do a pull test on them to see how tender they are. Kind of the same way. A lot of times we'll take them bones and pick out the best ones. Kind of present them like that. And the same for the baby backs. Just kind of double them up like that to make them look pretty. And that's kind of what we're looking for. Now it's the true test is, can he bite through it? How much moisture it's got. You can see that thing's got just juice dripping out of it. And that's what we're looking for right there. Give me just a minute to do some housekeeping right here and we'll be right back with you. Now we got all our housekeeping done, we're cleaned up. You can see how that came right off the bone. It was a perfect bite. You can see some teeth marks on that side, and that's what we're looking for. Now with these baby backs, it's a little bit different. You're gonna get a judge out there that's want to take something like this right here, and he wants to tear it apart, and he wants to see that bone just like that. And then he's gonna take it and see if he can bite through it. And you can see my teeth mark right there. And you still see that bone, that's a perfect rib. Again, I'm gonna do some housekeeping and I'll be right back. All right, we got the housekeeping done, the ribs are done. It's about time for us to eat supper. I got my son Clayton here. Now Clayton here at Springfest 2022 won second place in the youth cook-off in the chicken division. He's kind of cocky about it, so proud of him. Kind of following in those footsteps, and we hope he's got more to come. But go ahead and get you one of them ribs and see what you think about it. That's pretty good, eh? So that's going to wrap up our video for today. Again, next week we're going to set up and do some more videos that on this journey to get to Watermelon Festival, and we got a lot more categories that we're going to practice on. So again, next weekend is we're going to do some more practicing. We're going to practice on some of the categories that we're going to work toward getting better at going in the Watermelon Festival 2022. We hope to see you guys there. Please subscribe to the channel, like what we're doing, and we'll see you next time.